Hello and Happy New Year again. It is 2:15 here on a Wednesday afternoon. I've sort of just faffed around for the last couple of days. I've had the kids here and it's absolutely wonderful, but very difficult to keep my head in the game when it comes to work. And I'll just turn my phone off here. Yes, it is time to get the year started. So this is the demonstration collection. I will be doing one of these every month. I've sort of been doing this last year as well. It started with 5 Minute May in 2020 and then went on to Friday Floral in June. We did the Shah cards, 54 Shah cards through July and August. Then I think I did some landscapes, something else, trying to remember. And then 12 Days of Christmas. So all of these demonstration collections we've been doing last year, I'm going to continue that this year. Hello Katrina and Christine and Kayleen, hello. Happy New Year to you too. So yes, it is continuing. And Sarah as well, this is great. Look, it's great to have Sarah and Kayleen here because they are members of the Shiny Happy Art Club. I used to, last year, basically, to sort of get a feel for what people wanted and what I could deliver. This was a separate product, I suppose. I do these for free on Facebook here and in the group. And then I bundle them up with any reference materials and extra details and supplies and all these extra notes and sell them, basically. So it is $22 if you buy them during the project. Or if the project is finished, it's $44. So a lot of people, thank you very much, have been supporting me and buying these separately. Now, they're now part of the club. So if you are a club member, not only do you get your you get your monthly online paint along. And this is this month's, Natalie the Koala. So many people have been painting it. Kayleen has been watching it. I'm reading instructions. Terry's been watching news. Oh yeah, turn off the news, Terry. Kayleen's actually done this koala a couple of times already, which just delights me, and hopefully she's enjoying it. There's a number of people who set up to do it multiple times, which just thrills me. It really, really does. But yes, so in the club you get a monthly online paint along, and this month it's Natalie, and you also get this collection of demonstration paintings. There's also a bunch of other wonderful things, but we're going to start the demonstration collection today. Now, there will be 12 in this demo collection, and I've got a list here. I've got a list of Australian, mainly fauna, actually, because I figured that there's actually so much Australian flora and so much Australian fauna that we may as well just get stuck into some animals. Now, the surface I'm going to paint on is different than what I've done in the past. We've painted in sketchbooks, I've painted on brown craft paper, I've painted on canvas, all sorts of things, but today I'm actually painting on these wooden coasters. I found these in Kmart, so you can see they've got, what are they, foam things on the back, ages ago, and there is another lovely artist, Deanna Marie, who's done a series of bird paintings on like slices, log slices, I don't know what they're called, but they looked gorgeous at the end. That may have been what inspired me to buy these in the first place, but I was going through my garage, which is my storeroom, and it flooded before Christmas, so it's a big mess. I've got so much sorting out to do, and I found this stack of wooden coasters, and I found a couple that I had started having a go at, so I'm going to have 12, and I'm just going to paint over these because they never got finished. Another thing that I found was these were from Kmart as well. 6 MDS coasters painted in grey. So if you did want to follow along, something like this would be just fine. But the thing is, you can paint on any surface. You can draw a circle and paint within the circle if you want to. You can mask off the circle. You can just do it as a square. You don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. I'm sort of just using up the supplies that I have available and yeah, doing something slightly different to keep your interest each time. And this is what it is this time. Good Christmas presents right there, says Janelle. How organised are you? And good to have you back. All right, so flora and fauna was the idea. Starting with fauna, I'm going to start with a kangaroo today. I think this is, in my reference photo, I think this is a young kangaroo. I don't think it's a wallaby. could be wrong, but the difference mainly, I think, between a kangaroo and a wallaby is that kangaroos are a lot taller, or a lot bigger in general, and they sort of had longer noses, more like a horse or a llama sort of nose, in my very artistic and non-veterinarian estimation. But they have a longer jaw, I suppose, than a wallaby, which is usually smaller. A wallaby is often brighter in colour, and the kangaroos are more muted in colour. So it is a cute photo, and if you are a member, which Terry is, of the club, excuse me, yes, all of the reference photos and everything are uploaded in the online course, which will get started once I finish this first video today. I need to cough again, which is ridiculous. So, all right. So enough chatting. I'm going to be painting with acrylic directly onto this wooden surface. I haven't sealed it at all. I'm thinking I probably should have used maybe a transparent gesso, like a see-through gesso would be a really good idea. I may decide to do that. I just haven't done it today. Look, there's so many things you could do. When it comes to something like this, I'll probably just paint over the top and leave the picture until I finish the subject, and then I'll decide what to do with the background. I'm really not sure if the wood will keep showing through, or if I'll end up painting over the whole thing. I'm really letting that sort of evolve as we go. But the other good thing about painting on something like this is that it's smaller, so it won't take too long. And that's the whole idea of challenges like this, unless you've got a lot of time. Well, I'm trying to present you with some variations. So if you think back to, and if you've been following me for a while, think back to landscapes, when we did Shiny Happy Landscapes. They took almost an hour a time, which was fabulous. I got so much learning out of them, but it was quite an investment in time and organisation, and this won't be quite as difficult to fit in, I hope. We will see, won't we? Because things do seem to have a mind of their own when we get started. Okay, I'm making some room here on my table. I have got my paints out. We're using the same paints, the golden paints that I use in the Shiny Happy Art Club, and the same brushes as well. If you're not a member, please do consider. It is the best way of doing it. It's the best way of painting regularly, and the feedback that I've been getting has been absolutely wonderful, and the people who are looking forward to painting more this year because they are members of the club, that is a good thing. Okay, so $33 a month. You can sign up, have a go, see how long you can stay interested. People like lovely Jane Roper, who catch up on the holidays, so she doesn't even paint necessarily my things. I know she does other things, but she doesn't paint everything every month. While you stay a member, the subjects are still there, and you can catch up when you have time. 33 Australian dollars is about 25 American, so it's pretty reasonable. Okay, hi Joe as well. I've got a few more Becky's here. Terrific Mariana, Sherilyn, terrific Lynn, Jackie, Elaine, terrific Sharon, Trisha. Thank you so much for all of you for joining me today. Okay, and I know some of you come and go. If you are joining me in the replay, please just pop a hello in the comments. That's appreciated. I do some of these paintings in the main Facebook page. I do some in the main Facebook group, and then some of my presentations are actually in the private group. So there'll be a variety. That won't have all 12 on this one page. And if you are a member of the club, of course, you'll have access to all of them. Okay, having said all that, let's do it, shall we? I'm going to put this back down on the table. There we go, all set up, ready to go. And I think the sound improves when I do this. Let me just check on the screen what you can see as well. And oops, everything's disappeared, of course, as it does. All right, just move this over a little bit. And I'll get stuck into it. Okay, so, oops, I've got everything here. I've got agapanthus from the other day, and I'm not using any pencils or anything. I'm going to go straight in with the paint. I might zoom in a bit though so you can see. Hi Annette, a few people saying hello. Kayleen's here too, that's great. And she's going to try and keep up with me. Excellent. I'm sure you can do it, Kayleen. Keep it nice and small, remember. And Kayleen does paint often enough. She totally knows that acrylic is forgiving. You can paint over it once it's dry, and everything is possible. So I'm going to try and put my paints here so that you can see more and really follow along with me if you choose to. Now, I always put my white in the middle. I'll just sort of do a mini palette here today. I won't need much paint because it is a small painting. I'm sticking with my cool colour. Oop, I've put that on the wrong side. Shocking. I'm going to put an arrow on there. Wrong side. Did you pick that up before I did? I can't let that sit. Let's just go like this. Now it looks like a smile. So this is, actually it's not. This is ultramarine. This is Diox. This is Quin Magenta. Ultramarine I use as my warm blue, but I know it will make a natural green, which is what I want. This is Hansa Yellow medium. A cadmium would be fine. Quin Magenta and titanium white. Now there are lots of different whites. I discussed this at length in my Shiny Happy colour course, which is available. We look at acrylics and watercolour and colour pencils and all sorts of things in that course. So if you're interested in colour, which is a fun thing to be interested in, that's where you'll find that. Okay, here's my reference photo. Now I just didn't want it to be straight on. I wanted it to have a bit of angle to the face. I am going to, because it's quite a small canvas, if you might say, I'm going to use my small pencil, or my smallest brush, to do the original sketch. I'm looking at this shape here on the side. It's quite vertical, and the angle that is and around. Now I'm looking at the gap between the two ears, the negative space. This is also quite vertical. This is when I hope I can fit everything in to the eye and down to the nose. This is quite horizontal. I'm going to make that ear a little smaller. Bring it back a bit and down. This is the jaw. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's all I need in terms of doing it. In some of these we'll do that upside down. We don't have to do them all the right way up. Now I'm going to stick to a neutral colour to start with. So I'm mixing my own neutral by picking up a little bit of each of these colours and white and putting that on, marking it off. Now what I do love about Natalie the koala, who she is here, is the bright colours I've included, and I'm going to use that as my inspiration. So part of the idea for the club is too that I give you the tools and the inspiration to learn techniques that you can then go and do on anything. It doesn't have to be exactly the painting that I do. Of course, for absolute beginners, I recommend you stick with what I do. But if you are, when you get more experienced, you can start doing subjects of your own, which is exactly something that Kayleen has been doing. And I love seeing how she's going, using the techniques that I and other artists have taught her over the years, and she's figured out. It's wonderful to see, to see other artists, other people who are interested in this stuff like me. All right, so there's a base colour of neutral on there, and the neutrals will make the colours sing. There is a book on that called Making Colours Sing. I haven't used this brush much lately. No, we'll do the eye next. I have got my black here, but I'm going to use yellow to just pop it in the right place. Now it's to the right hand side of that ear, which I think I've actually brought, that it's going to come down there a bit. So the eye is going to sit about there, I think. And I really should have gone for the black. This is carbon black. There's a number of different blacks as well. Simply because I don't want to have to wait for it to dry too much. It is pretty hot in here, and I've turned the fan off so you can hear my voice better. At the moment I'm going microphone free to see how it goes until I figure out a better solution. Here we go, up and over. So I hope you can hear me okay. Into the eye, and I'll add the highlights and the highlights on the eye later on. So obviously here's the nose and around the side there, and a bit of a smile. This is a bit llama-ish, isn't it? I think it needs a bit more of a jowl there, a bit more of a cheek. Okay, so while this is still wet, I'm going to pick that up and bring that down a bit more there. Okay. Now thinking of tones, I need some lighter tones on the bridge of the nose. Going into my number 10 flat brush now. And I'm going to bring in some pinks actually. White and a bit more pink. So I'm going to bring this down on the bridge of the nose where things are definitely lighter. There on that ear. This is lighter in here. This is lighter in here. Around the side of the ear, underneath the eye. A bit too much water on my brush there. Those marks are not quite solid enough. But I'm picking up a bit more pink now, bringing that into the top of the ear. I'm going to make that darker in the middle in a moment. A bit more depth of colour there, a bit more depth of colour here. Darker here, which will be on the back. The very edge there. So by starting with that neutral, that medium neutral, I'm able to choose where I put the colour without having to do the whole lot. That's the top of the head there, I can mark that on. And I'm going to bring in some blue here to make a magenta. I think you can still see that on the screen. And that can be the dark in the ear here. Probably darker again, I've still got a bit of white on my brush. And underneath the chin, a bit of purple here, a bit of purple around the nose. Obviously that black is still wet. Using it as a mark making tool, keeping it loose. Knowing that I'm coming back with my, I've still got highlights to come and details. Okay, back to my number 6 round brush for some details, and just like we did in the sort of the beard of Natalie the koala, I'm roughing up and adding some fur marks to the face here. It really is staying very wet. I guess it's not an absorbent surface, so that makes sense. Coming down here, down here. If you are learning, I would recommend to do this upside down perhaps, as well as right way up. I'll certainly do that with one of the other animals that we do. Ideas for animals though, I think I've got some good things on the list. What do you think is going to be included? If you are thinking Australian animals, a little bit more detail here. What can I definitely not go without? Knowing that this collection will just be 12, there might be a second collection, of course. I think he looks a bit too ragged there. But we're coming along. All right, I can tie these together with some stronger strokes at the end. It really is a decision-making, creative decision-making process. Any art like this is. Okay, bit of eyeliner there. I'm going to mix a darker grey, very dark grey, with a bit of white, and do the eyeliner. Very tip of the brush, a bit more white there. And I'm going to put on a bit of an indication of the eyelashes here. eyelashes. Checking that nose is closer to right now. I did find with the examples of the, back to the black, straight on faces for kangaroos, some of them did look pretty cranky. That was another reason I chose to have a reference photo that was not facing straight on. Now I'm saving the highlights to last, so it gives the eye as long as possible to try and dry. Back to my number 10 brush to sort out some of these lines, too many of them there. Just cleaning off the brush a bit. I want some lighter colour under here now. Also helps blend it a little bit. Happy with that. And know that this being the first one in the collection, I will definitely be much more critical of it when there is only one. When there is 12, it will have a lot more of a wow factor. So that is part of my mission, to get people painting and drawing more. Filling your book. Metaphor for life there. Fill your book. Make a collection. Don't stop at one. That's too much of a line. I'm not happy with that. Softening it, softening it, softening it. Now the other thing to remember is could fluff around with this for days, so it's good to have a bit of a time idea, and I am going to finish this off shortly. Up into the ear there. But as you know, it doesn't come to life till its highlights go on the eye. Hello, Wendy. You've probably got some great reference photos to use, I imagine. Now I'm going to use this purple to do some little whisker dots here with the very tip of my brush. Okay, almost forgot you guys were there, stopped talking. A few more sort of hairy whisker marks here. Here as well. I know we'll see more as soon as I step away. Okay, bit of highlight in the eye. I do like this double highlight. Doesn't that make a difference? Always, always love the highlight. I'll put a little bit of a highlight on the tip of the nose here as well. I'm going to highlight a few hairy bits. And underneath, this is all super fluffy underneath the chin here, the softer fur. And those whiskers are actually quite white too. Very tip of the brush. I am holding it close here, but I'm trying to get a bit more direction with it. There we go. More subtle. I'll bring that back in there, and then another one. A bit more here, just softening that area. But I'm okay with that. I think that might do. I think we just need a bit more colour. So we've got basically it's a red there, that Quin Magenta. So I'm going to use a bit of green, which is the complementary colour, mixing some yellow and some of this blue, which gives me a very lovely natural green. And just have some subtle green in there as well. And of course, if you know me at all, you know what the next colour is going to be. If you know me at all, that's a big call, isn't it? I'm just opening that eye up because it will look friendlier. Thinking that nose, there is definitely some black there in that nose. Settle under there. Okay. What's the next colour going to be? Okay, and it's yellow. Yellow, yellow, zinger colour. And we've got a little bit of yellow peeking through because I did those original lines with the yellow. Okay, just softening a bit of this here because it isn't shaggy fur, it is, well, it is shaggy, but it's not creating lots of different tones, not too much there. I'll soften that up here as well. I think I'd do a better job with that number 10 brush though. This is when the fussing can ruin things, so I'm very aware of that. If you are painting along with me and you think, nope, I'm going to stop and have a cup of tea and think about it, now's probably a good time to do that. But there we go. I think I'm going to leave her, let's say it's a her, at that. I think there's a bit, looking at her, it's a bit too much of a swoop on my nose. It's straighter here. So I'm getting so hot in this room, I need to finish. I'm going to just straighten that up a bit. Make her a bit more kangaroo, a bit less dog. There we go. So subtle differences that sometimes don't show up till you've had a chance to have a good look at it. I know it happens certainly for me that way. It's a bit more of a kangaroo now. And that will do for today. All right, there we go. Calling it yellow. Good call, Janelle. Back to my glowing face now. It is warm. It is summer. It has been raining. And hopefully we'll get a bit more rain this afternoon, but I'm getting stuck into some brand new ideas for Shiny Happy Art in general, as well as the Shiny Happy Art Club. I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you. If you do have plans for inviting a bit more creativity into your life this year, you're in the right place. If you really want to get serious about it, I would say let's use our art supplies. If you have art supplies sitting in drawers, sitting on shelves, ready to be used, but you just haven't quite found the reason to use them yet, come for the ride with me. Join the club, stick around, we'll do fun stuff like this, and I'm really looking forward. That is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to having 12 of these, absolutely. So make sure you are a member of my Shiny Happy Draw and Paint with Anna Facebook group, because I'll probably do tomorrow's there, and then of course there will be some that are specifically and only for members of the Shiny Happy Art Club, because we have a Facebook group, another private Facebook group for the club members there as well. One of the happiest places on the internet, and hopefully you can enjoy the free stuff, or if you can put a little bit of money behind it, you can really enjoy being a member of the club with me. So thank you very much. The year has begun. It is a really good feeling. I think I had to do this before I could get stuck into some other things. Steve's still waiting for stuff. I've got to bundle up some art supplies, some art kits that are going out in the mail today as well. So if you've been waiting on an art kit, it is coming, and then we can all get stuck into this. But get your art supplies out. Let's get started. I've got paint on my hand. It's a really nice way to start the day, whatever part of the day it is. Start your art day anyway. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.